Old man, you are seated in a designated area. Before someone forces you to, you must move. As laughter echoed across the dining hall, a well-dressed attendee snapped, not bothering to conceal his sneer. The old man didn't answer, stooped a little, in a worn army jacket. As like he hadn't heard the slur, he merely made a trembling hand motion for the butter knife at the table. The sound of forced small conversation and exquisite glacier filled the event around him. However, the tension crackled at table 9. People looked around, some people laughed. He probably wandered in by mistake, a woman muttered. Looks like he's wearing army surplus from the 1960s, said another mumble. DC politicians, elite contractors, and decorated officers crowded the room. The thin, elderly man with the deeply wrinkled face and military cap, which appeared to have survived and possibly had wars, was unrecognizable. Clearly irritated, one of the younger officers stood. He was heard by you. Before you embarrass yourself, move on. At that moment, the man gently got up from his seat, inhaled deeply, and turned to look at them. Despite his advanced age, there was still a glimmer of something deadly, focused, and icy in his eyes. He remained silent. He didn't have to. The room was suddenly filled with the sound of chairs screeching. From a nearby table, 7 tank-like men in navy blue shirts with SEAL insignia emblazoned on them rose in unison. Everybody turned to look at them. These men weren't your average ones. These were the beginnings of legends, the kind of modern fighters who remained unflinching in combat situations. Nevertheless, they were all facing the elderly man and standing at attention at this very time. One of them moved forward, speaking in a composed and deferential tone. Permission to properly address you, Master Chief. There was silence in the banquet hall. Glasses of wine were carefully placed down. Forks stopped in mid-stride. There was an audible gasp. When all 7 SEALs snapped into a salute, the men at table 9 stared in bewilderment. Then it struck. That elderly man wasn't merely a senile veteran who had become disoriented. Their Lord Chief was him, the one about which the legends murmured, the person who trained Tier 1 operators in unfit environments. No one in the government has formally acknowledged the person who vanished during a secret operation, the person whose leadership had prevented conflicts and saved lives. With wide eyes, a younger soldier said under his breath, "You're the ghost of Kandahar." The SEAL in front approached him and gave him a light chest tap. "I wouldn't be alive. If it wasn't for this man right here, none of us would." Another said, "He carried me 3 clicks through enemy fire with shrapnel in his leg." A third person added their voice. He explained to us the significance of earning our trident. People's jaws dropped across the hall. Those who had made fun of him just moments before suddenly turned their heads aside in embarrassment. The elderly man only nodded, as though they didn't need to be recognized. However, the respect that might have had some value. One by one, the SEALs advanced, encircling him in a protective semicircle, not as guards, but as sons representing a father. The event's commander hurried over, his face hot. "Master Chief, sir, we had no idea you were," but the old man raised a hand, silencing him. He spoke slowly and firmly, his voice raspy with age. "I didn't come here for applause. I came to honor those who were unable to return, the people you don't invite to such dinners. Those who sacrificed all without making any requests." At that moment, the hall burst into movement rather than noise. Generals and lower-level officers alike rose to their feet. While some lowered their heads, others saluted. A couple of wiped tears. Nobody said anything else. Nobody ventured, and the men who believed they were the room's owners, with their eyes downcast, they sat down quietly. Nobody recalled the speeches after the supper. Neither the decorations nor the contributors were recalled. They only discussed how 7 SEALs rose in a wall of honor around the Master Chief as soon as he entered. A man who carried more weight than any uniform in the room that evening, despite not having any ribbons on his jacket. "Remember to mention your nation or city as we come to a close. Please let us know from where you are viewing. Therefore, you should never condemn someone based on their age or silence. Some fighters can establish their identity without medals. They are preceded by their legacy. Please click the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts on this story below if it touched you.